Hello. Uh, it's Sunday night, which, if you don't know me, that's my Friday of my work week. So I am got like a local brewery's beer uh, that does these like fucking high octane, like fresh fruit beers. They're really good. Anyway, I wanted to talk about something that I've been thinking about for a while and that I keep seeing proven to me in my experience or keep feeling called to repeat. And I'm watching Dead Poet Society and kind of like getting a lot of messaging repeated back to me from that. And I just wanted to explain that and then tell a little story. So, the thing that I've been thinking about is the fact that a lot of things just need to be started in order to begin the flow of the entire thing happening. Right? Just the way that water works with gravity, it just needs the tipping point and it will start running down. It will start finding all of the fissures and falling into the places where it's supposed to fall into. And but that's something that I've seen a lot of times just with human behavior socially, is that in a situation you really just need one person to start doing a thing, especially if it's an anomaly at all, in any way. Whether it's, knowingly against the rules kind of anomaly, or whether it's just, oh, that's a different way of doing that, or doing things, or a different thing to do, kind of an anomaly. It really just takes somebody starting it, and then, it's not a sheep effect. It's more complicated than that, because people are more complicated than that, and any given moment is more complicated than that. So it's not so much that it's not a monkey see, monkey do situation. That is crowd rage, or there's a specific word for that. I don't remember what it is. Or the mob mentality. I think that's what it is. Mob mentality is just kicking into the gear of monkey see, monkey do. But I'm talking more, it provides the option if it was not a preconceived option for somebody. It gives permission if someone was looking for permission before they, change their actions. It provides a scapegoat or some level of safety. If you're like, okay, if I get in trouble for this, I can say that they did it first. That's a very, very common, easy thing to do, right? When your entire life is staying safe, you go for the low-hanging fruit of staying safe. But anyway, that's something that, like, the genuinely lovely human moments of, like, the boys bonding and just kind of exploring things to do as a group of humans together. I love it. I love all the layers of dynamics that are going on. The actors, a couple of the actors are doing such an amazing fucking job. Just as far as, like, I can see all of the restrained control and masking and all of your, like, codependency. What was the fucking line? If he doesn't know, I haven't disobeyed him. And I'm just like, I hate that I grew up with that logic too. Um, anyway, okay, so there was a story that I was going to tell. And it kind of fit in with like this happened. I am not saying that I influenced the situation, right? But this happened in a kind of uncanny fashion after I had recently begun thinking about how because I'm still working on like my own just anxiety and like lack of ability to like show up if I feel intimidated. And I can't say intimidated. There's a whole lot of stuff that really doesn't matter to me, right? And so you can't intimidate me with those things, right? But there are the things that for me personally are intimidating. A lot of it is trauma related, some of it's neurodivergence related, whatever. Um, I have my things, right? And if I get intimidated, then, kind of shuts off. But anyway, so, sorry, I trailed off. When you work in the restaurant industry, you have a bunch of little like courtesies in the culture if you're like you've been in the service industry for a while, and it includes giving verbal cues for spatial information, spatial proximity information, and it's mostly just like I'm moving around you. And what's funny is that I walk bike paths so often that I start incorporating bike calls on your left. I started doing that and mixing it in, which is unfamiliar to like front of house language culture. Anyway, I was behind the only other queer person at my job, and I was like, "Coming behind you," and I just heard him say, "Yeah, I wish," and I'm just like, and next time we met eyes, I was like, "I heard you." You're like, "No, you didn't." Anyway, um, so I was at one of my favorite trailheads, and when was this? I think this was probably early summer. I think it was late spring, early summer this year. And I was in the front part of the like park, and like in the manicured area where it's like mowed lawn and everything. But I like found a really nice spot against the tree line going into the woods, that had just like a really nice shadow from like where the sun was at the time. And I brought like my blanket that I made to use outside, and I had that, and like my whole like plan for that afternoon was to bring a book and the blanket and to go there and sit under a tree and read. And it was a beautiful day. I remember there was like really beautiful skyscapes that day too. So anyway, I'm sitting there, and actually I had a few different, or I had at least one other like very memorable experience sitting right there, because a lady and her dog walked by along the tree line, and that was a very nice interaction with both of them. But anyway, so I was sitting there reading, and on the blanket on the grass by the trees, and it's on a really popular bike path in my city, and And so there's people going back and forth pretty regularly, but like they're at a bit of a distance. Um, so we see each other, but like we're far away from each other. And so this guy, I see this guy. He's like gotten his bike off of his car, and goes up to. I see him because he ends up stopping the bike in the grass, like directly in front of me, quite a ways away, but directly in front of me. Stops his bike, and he's kind of like making sure he's got all of his stuff that he needs on himself and on his bike, and then like does his stretches and everything. And I was like, all right, cool. Like I respect that. Like he's doing his stretches and everything before he goes on his bike. And then he just stops, and like he's just kind of like he's in the consideration pose, that just sort of like. And I'm like, will he go bike? And then he like just walks his bike back to his car after all that. I'm just like, is he gonna leave? Change plans? Something come up? And I go back to my book and I'm on my business, and then I see the same guy walk back out, like to the same spot where he was at before with his bike, with a blanket and a book, and I'm just like, and it's so cute because like I have to sit upright and cross-legged and like very fucking stooped over. I'm very bad about stooping when I sit, and you think that doesn't make sense, but think about it. And but this guy, he laid down under the tree and like had like one knee up and like one leg over the knee and like holding the book over him. It was super cute actually. He stayed there for like probably like 20 minutes, 20, 30 minutes. And then like packed up all his stuff and went back to his car and left. And I was like, I dig that. Because for whatever reason, going for a bike ride, you got all the way up to being